Hi, I'm Samantha Catlett, and today I'm presenting my speech on why I believe that tattoos should no longer be labeled as unprofessional in work settings. If you were the manager in a company tasked with interviewing new people, would you feel the need to deny the job to someone who has more visible tattoos and is fully trained in the field, but instead give it to a person with little to none showing and the same skill level? Why do people need to undermine or question a person's work ethic when they have tattoos? Having tattoos myself, it makes me question whether or not it will affect my chances at getting jobs in the future, and it makes me question myself and what I think about getting more. It is still very common for people to be denied jobs when they have visible tattoos, and it is a topic in many minds when going to get new body art. And so I'd like to further my view on why tattoos shouldn't be the defining feature in a person's job, rather their work ethic that actually counts towards their employment. Tattoos are an expression of oneself to the world, giving outsiders a sneak peek into the mind of the owner. Hannah Brown from Collegiate Times says, tattoos are a form of self-expression that shouldn't serve as a reason to discriminate against someone. If you are someone who views tattoos as unprofessional, just keep in mind that tattoos aren't a complete reflection of somebody's character. And tattoos can become a defining key into receiving approval of the people around you, but they shouldn't be the only factor holding you back from gaining others' respect. I personally know many people with tattoos that cover their whole bodies, and I assume that they get weird stares in the public, but they don't let that bother them because it doesn't matter what people think just by looking at you, it's what they get when they actually talk to you and experience you. Kaylin Winber from the Daily American says, some of these young adults receiving tattoos and piercings are worried about their chances of finding jobs and whether they would be considered appropriate by others. Well, being discriminated for having tattoos in the professional world can be challenging to one's anxiety levels, making them question whether it's their fault for losing an opportunity. And it's hard to live in a world where the expression of art on a body canvas is frowned upon and can make employment opportunities decrease just because of that one factor. Caroline Margle from the Crimson White stated that office jobs are filled with hardworking individuals who are most times demanded to cover their permanent art. If the rule of covering tattoos was taken away in office environments, it would not change their ability to successfully fulfill their role in their work field. Tattoos are simply a design to represent something significant in one's life, which in the end does not change their work ethic or ability to complete tasks that their job requires. Tattoos should not be the force holding people back from receiving credit or gaining influence in work because they are seen as unprofessional. And at my job currently, my manager personally loves to see mine and my coworkers' tattoos because it allows her to see what we're passionate about, and it also gives us the opportunity to defend why we got body art in the first place. And people who get discriminated in life by having visible tattoos often feel worse about themselves in the sense that they can't do what they would like because they're being judged on the form of art on their bodies. Scott Tudhope was interviewed by the writers of this article and said, I've lost out on job opportunities in the past because of mine. I couldn't be a teaching assistant. I was told to cover up my arms when I worked at the council, even though there was no policy in place. He thinks that employers associate tattoos with being a thug or rough and get nervous about hiring you. And he also said they are missing out, but it is what it is. And that quote came from Daniel Thomas at the BBC News. Hearing how a man was denied a teaching job because of his tattoos and not his work ethic or bad recommendations shows how one-sided today's world is when thinking about body art and how it can give a bad reputation to a company. Jordan Hart from the Daily Cougar states that people should not be faced with the choice of having their dream job and expressing themselves through body modification. Tattoos are not the measure of someone's dependability or skill. Employers should appreciate the individuality and the courage that it takes to get a tattoo and wear it proudly. Tattoos do not determine professionalism, people do. And this statement further shows how people should be encouraged to individualize themselves however they'd like, and not have to worry about the repercussions that they may face ahead of time in a professional situation, because doing stuff like this can boost confidence or encourage oneself to do what they love. And it's also time for me to present some counterviews on why tattoos can be considered unprofessional, not only to bring forth the explanation that some corporate beings have, but to also shed some light into the thoughts of why tattoos can hurt someone's work. Daniel Thomas from BBC News also stated, if an employer adopts a dress or appearance code, employees have to follow it unless there are specific religious or cultural grounds not to. There is absolutely no legal protection for body art, says Susan Harris, the legal director at the GMB Union. And given the fact that if there is a specific dress or appearance code, makes it easier to understand why some people have the beliefs that tattoos are not professional, because every person must look alike and it's not appropriate to break the dress code by doing things to make you stand out. And I can also understand how many people in a company may believe that they may be looked down on if somebody who is fully inked is put out as a representative, but with the new era of younger people getting tattooed, it is a harder situation to ignore. Jacqueline Smith from Business Insider stated that Skinfo.com found that a whopping 37% of HR managers cite tattoos as the third most likely physical attribute to limit career potential, and there are currently no laws protecting people with tattoos from discrimination in the hiring process. And knowing that tattoos are likely to affect somebody's career can help others into deciding if they would like to get body art in that time of their life, or waiting until that period is over where they don't have to worry about being called out. Seeing both sides of the argument can allow you to make the decision yourself on whether or not you believe tattoos are unprofessional, but it also gives you a stance of the opposing side of whatever you believe in personally. And knowing tattoos are a part of a person that cannot be taken away or covered indefinitely should give employers a better understanding into who they are and looking at to hire, and have them make their choice on whether the person has a good track record with previous jobs instead of how their outward appearance is. And I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to my presentation on why tattoos shouldn't be labeled as unprofessional, but rather see how they are a form of expression. Now I have one question for you. Do you believe that tattoos are unprofessional?